Hi everyone, my name is Bella, and today on Find Kind, I want to talk about how to respond when you see a stray animal on the side of the street.
With the beef of your face. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. There is a stray dog.
In today's video, I am going to be sharing different materials and different items that you can keep handy that will be useful when responding to a stray animal. Very basic body language of dogs so that you can predict and understand what energy you are going to be dealing with in the dog that you find. And number 3, I'm going to be sharing different resources and steps that you can follow after you have the dog in your possession or after you have a location and pictures of the dog. But before we dive in, I want to really clearly communicate something. Dealing with stray animals on the street is something that's unpredictable and dangerous. You never know how these animals can respond. You never know what these animals have been through. You never know what situation you're entering when you get out of your car to try and chase down a stray animal. I do not want you to use this information to put yourself in a situation that you're uncomfortable with or feel unsafe in. Please make the best decision for yourself and for the sustainability and longevity of your kindness, okay? I would hate for you to get bit or get yourself into a bad situation because you're trying to do good. Okay, that is it. That is it. Thank you for listening. Let's go ahead and dive in. So the very first batch of information that I'm going to be going through are materials that will help you when it comes to working with stray animals on the side of the street. Number one is a slip lead. A slip lead is a specific kind of leash that is very helpful when it comes to working with animals that you need good control over and you can't get super close to. A slip lead allows you to drop a big loop around an animal's head and then tighten it without, there's no like, let's put a collar on, let's hook this to a harness. There are no extra steps apart from get your loop, put the loop over the head, and tighten. So a slip lead is a very common sort of leash that is used in stray rescue work. The second most important item is going to be smelly food. The smellier the better, because the goal is for those animals to smell it and not be able to push back that smell response. You can have dog treats, you can have canned dog food, you can even grab a McDonald's hamburger. Food can be helpful when it comes to coaxing animals out of small places, if you're trying to bring them closer to you, or if you're trying to gain their trust. Our next items are going to be a water bottle and a bowl. In the summers, it gets really hot and it can be hard for dogs to find water. So carrying a water bottle and a collapsible bowl, that's what I recommend, or any bowl. And the very last item that I'm gonna recommend is a blanket. This is not necessary, but if you're transporting the animal, the picnic blanket can really come in handy when it comes to keeping your car clean. Because there can be slobber, there can be dirt, there can be dried poop, dried blood, worst case scenario, bugs, ticks, fleas, worst case scenario. That blanket is just gonna save you from potential worlds of hurt. Now that we have gone ahead and ran through the different items that I recommend keeping handy, let's go ahead and discuss the different body language that you might encounter and what that means when it comes to your approach to the dog. There are 3 main responses that we might get from this animal, okay? We could get shy, we could get friendly, and we could get aggressive, okay? Now, of these 3, the only one that we get a straightaway, okay, let's go ahead and approach from is friendly. If you see a lazy, relaxed, wagging tail, if you see a wiggling body, if you see floppy ears, if you see a tongue, those are all good signs for us. And that means, go ahead, come pet me. Oh my gosh, if we see a belly, if a dog rolls over for us, that is like 100% #goals. That's the response that we really want. And that's the best sign that we can get. So those are all behaviors that we're gonna see when we encounter a friendly dog. Now, anything aggressive. if we see hard ears back or forward, if we see a stiff tail, if we see raised hair, those are all bad signs. That means that this dog is tuned into their more predatory reactions and that you could be in trouble. This means that you want to get back into your car, take a picture, note the location, and reach out to a shelter tomorrow or later in the week after you have confirmed that this area is an area that the dog frequents. Now, shy behaviors, this is the kind of gray territory. If you feel open to it, you can approach and you can try to corral this dog and get this dog. Because sometimes shy dogs will just shut down if they feel trapped. But sometimes shy dogs will lash out. So this gray area, if you are not experienced with animals, I would recommend just taking a picture and calling it a day and leaving it to the professionals. But I personally, I've worked with abused dogs, I've worked with neglected dogs. I know how far to push it, and I know when to call it a day. So shy behavior is going to be cowering, it's going to be running away, it's going to be a tucked tail. You'll see the tail slip between the legs. So those are some of the different signs. And if a dog is shy and is likely to lash out, if they're running, you'll see them looking over their shoulder, and you might see a snarl of the lips or a licking of the lips. These signs are signs that you're going to want to take a step back and leave this one for the professionals. You have done everything in your power. So those are the 3 behaviors that you may encounter, and the ways that I would respond to them. Friendly, you can go ahead and approach that dog. Go ahead and throw the collar over, bring them home with you. If you find a shy dog, what I would recommend is speaking in a very soft, quiet voice, making yourself very, very small so that you don't seem threatening, extending your hand, bringing food, utilizing that food. Those are the different ways that I would approach a more shy dog. And then aggressive dog, I don't mess with that. And the last little bit of information that I want to share with you guys today are the steps that you can take once you have a dog in your possession. In this video already, I have thrown in the reaction that you can take if you don't intend to take the dog with you. And those steps, just to quickly summarize, if you don't intend to bring the dog with you and try and find a shelter, you want to make sure that this is a frequent area that it can be found in. So return to the area, see if they're still in the area, maybe drive around a little bit. And if you are able to find them again, then I would report that location, try and get a picture of the dog, at least get a good description of like, this is the hair, this is like how big it is about, these are any like big things that help put it apart, like it has a red collar. I once saw a dog wearing like a teddy bear sweater. Crazy stuff, my friends. So get as much information as you can and then call the local shelter that works in that area, or call the local like city ordinance that works with that area, and then report the dog to them. And they will most likely send someone out who has experience and resources with trapping. So they might have like big traps that they could put some food in and try and lure the animal in. And they're also trained professionals, so they know how to respond to this. They know what gloves to use and how to suit themselves up. I don't want you doing that. I want the professionals handling that. So that is how you would go about reporting if you don't intend to try and get the dog in your care. If you do have the dog in your care though, there are a number of different ways that we can go about this. The goal for the shelters is to have it handled within residence. But like I said at the beginning of this video, my goal on this channel is to help you do as much good as you can in the world. And sometimes it's not realistic to expect you to keep an animal in your home. For example, I have a dog of my own, and she doesn't always like high energy dogs. So I am not always comfortable having her in a space with another dog without being supervised. So I can't keep a dog in my care for a long-term basis. There are a multitude of reasons that it wouldn't be safe for you to keep an animal in your home. And in that case, I think it is appropriate to seek out shelter support. So local shelters are a really, really good way to still help this animal and still make sure that this animal is reunited with its owner, but not take on the burden personally. And if you are seeking out a shelter to keep the animal in their care, I would love to recommend that you look for no-kill shelters. No-kill shelters, a little bit of vocabulary today. No-kill shelters are shelters that prioritize keeping animals alive and placing them in homes over all else. So the very last thing that we're going to talk about today is how to respond if you have an animal in your care. If you have an animal in your care, shelters are going to want you to handle this by yourself. That is the ideal situation for them, because shelters often don't have space, and it's more work for them to try and reunite owners, and it is work and energy that they could be devoting to something else. So it is not the best scenario for shelters to take in dogs that are trying to be reunited with their owners. But on this channel, I want the best thing for you. I want the solution that is going to help you make the biggest impact in your life. So if this means that you can't keep the dog that you found at your home, it's okay. I have a dog. She doesn't always get along with other dogs. And so I realistically cannot keep stray animals at my place. So if you are looking to bring the animal to a shelter where they can be reunited with their owners, my big suggestion is going to be to look for no-kill shelters. No-kill is a term that is used to describe shelters that avoid euthanasia and avoid putting dogs down. Instead, these shelters will offer programs, and they'll offer support, and they'll offer behavioral work, and they'll offer foster homes until they are able to find their forever home. So no-kill is a term that I would recommend using when you're looking for a shelter to hand that stray animal off to. Now, if you are up for the challenge and you want to help reunite this dog with its owner yourself, then these are the steps that you're going to want to take. Number 1, get a parent or legal guardian involved. When you are reuniting an animal with its owner, you never know who you're going to encounter. You never know what situation you're going to be walking into. So I recommend getting a parent or legal guardian involved and going through this process with them. After you have your support and you feel confident helping reunite this animal with their owner, your next step is going to be finding the most updated contact information. Sometimes you'll find stray dogs that have a leash and they'll have contact information on their collar. Go ahead and call those numbers. Go ahead and try and find the owner, get into contact with them. If these numbers and if this contact information is not accurate, which has happened to me, your next step is going to be checking in to see if the animal has a microchip. A microchip is a tiny piece of technology that is implemented into the back of a dog's neck. And that microchip has contact information for the animal. So even if they lose their collar, they can't lose that microchip. So you can bring the dog to a local shelter, a local PetSmart, in order to get them scanned and see if they have that information. And then you're going to want to reach out to the owner. Give them a call, see when they're available to make the connection and set up that date. And then your final step is just going to be dropping off the dog. Now, it is a little bit tricky if you can't find contact information, so I'll walk you down that scenario as well. If you don't find contact information for the animal, either they're missing a tag, they don't have a microchip, they don't have information, whatever it is, if you don't have any contact information for the owner, what you'll want to do is start to go out on social media. So you'll post pictures of the dog, you'll say what area they were found in, and just like any other pertinent information. And then you'll want to send that out. And based on where you live, there are different platforms that are recommended to put this information. I really appreciate you tuning in. I just wanted to share my perspective, my experience, my steps and processes with you guys today. If you found my channel and you liked this video and you're a fan of positive impact in the world, go ahead and subscribe. This is the kind of content that I put out. This is the kind of content that I'm dedicated to. And I honestly just want to help you do good in the world. Thanks again for joining. Have a good one, guys.
I am in the car with Miss Lita. Lita, you want to come over here? You want to show the people your face? Good job showing the people your face. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. There is a stray dog.